Hi, it's Mandy Audette, and I'm here to show you how to learn all of your major scales using a trumpet fingering chart. Here I have a fingering chart that was made by trumpet player Evelyn Talbot, and you can get it on her website. It also comes with some flashcards and a music theory book. But the fingering chart shows all the notes starting from kind of the lowest note going up to, some higher notes that you can play. And so it goes, one step at a time up the scale. It's like a chromatic scale when you look at a fingering chart. One thing that I also want to mention is that when you look at a scale, we'll talk about two different types of steps, a half step and a whole step. So when you look at a fingering chart, you can make a half step, which just is like going from one note to the next note. And a whole step goes from one note, skips a note, and goes to this note. So if you're on a piano, a half step would be from one note to the very next key, and a whole step would be from one note, skipping a key and going to the next key. So, when you're doing a major scale, you start at the root. And then up here this is a pattern that you follow. Root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So you start at the root of any scale, and the root is the first note of the scale. So let's say we're doing the F sharp scale. F sharp is the root. And then the next note in the scale, you start at the root and then you go a whole step. So you skip one to this note. The next note is G sharp. Then you have another whole step. So you skip a note and you go to A sharp. And then you have a half. So then the next note is B. Now you have a whole step. So the next note is C sharp. You have another whole step. So the next note is D sharp. Have another whole step. So the next note is E sharp. And then the last note is a half step. So that's F sharp. You should end up on the same note that you started on. We started on F sharp and we ended up on F sharp. Let's do one more. We'll do one on G. So G is the root. We go up a whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C. And then we do a whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, and then a half step to G. So for the G scale, we started on G and ended on G. So that's how you make a major scale. You use a fingering chart, and then it also shows the fingering, so that's convenient. You start on the root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. You just have to follow that pattern. Thanks.